thing, I want to say give YouTube about 3 days. Give YouTube about 3 days if your video is under 20 minutes long, so that its voice recognition can work diligently on your video before you begin this process. And I would say if your video is longer than 20 minutes, I would let the video sit in YouTube for about a week before going through this process of trying to correct what it is that YouTube thinks you said. YouTube does an awful lot of work. They do a whole lot of work to try to get your to try to use their voice recognition to estimate what it is they think you've said, but it takes some time. Hello. The fact that you found this video suggests to me that you're trying to fix something in your closed captionings or subtitles. So just a quick, I'm going to go to my channel, I'm going to go to my videos, and I'm going to find something that's been subtitled or closed captioned. Something short, this one, and turn on.
It is mid-March, and there's still a Christmas ornament that's stuck in the ground that's likely to cause us like a $50 fine. The city has already sent us a letter saying that we need to, we've got Christmas ornaments that can still be seen on the property.
So, okay, back in the beginning, let's just say that we're dissatisfied with the fact that it said March, but it didn't capitalize March. So I'll go back and I'll replay that.
All right, it is mid-March, and there's still a...
So here, you see where it says mid-March? Now I know that there's other misspellings in this, but just so that I can show that what I'm going to be changing is this mid-March. I'm going to capitalize that March. In other words, I came over here to close captions, and I turned it on so that as a viewer I'd be able to read what it is that's being said. And sometimes when YouTube does its automatic voice recognition of videos, it thinks it hears certain words that aren't actually the words that were being said, and it's going to misspell what was actually said as the words that YouTube thinks you said. And so we're going to go through the process of correcting that, so that if there's other YouTubers out there who are wondering how do I correct the misspellings that occur on their videos, hopefully this video will help with that. So I'm going to go through the whole process of doing that on this video. I'm going to go first up here to this upper right corner, and I'm going to click on my icon, and I'm going to choose my channel. I'm going to choose YouTube Studio. Okay, and then I get my channel dashboard, and I'm going to go to Videos. And then I'm going to if you've had your, let's go ahead and find that video. This is the video right here. But I want to, before I click on the next thing, I want to say, give YouTube about 3 days. Give YouTube about 3 days if your video is under 20 minutes long, so that its voice recognition can work diligently on your video before you begin this process. And I would say if your video is longer than 20 minutes, I would let the video sit in YouTube for about a week before before going through this process of trying to correct what it is that YouTube thinks you said. YouTube does an awful lot of work. They do a whole lot of work to try to get your to try to use their voice recognition to estimate what it is they think you've said, but it takes some time. And I think throughout my use of YouTube, I've come to expect that as long as I give YouTube about 3 days to work with what it thinks that I've said, it will give a pretty good approximation of what I've said, so that I don't have to spend a whole lot of time on corrections. Or if the video is longer than 20 minutes, I think a week should be ample time for YouTube to try to guesstimate what it is that I've been saying. Of course, those numbers are flexible, but I think if you go 3 days for under 20 minutes and 7 days for over 20 minutes, you should find that that's going to be a fairly reliable recommendation. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some editing. So I'm going to come over here to this details icon on the proper video. So this is the video. It's a very short video, 5 minutes and 27 seconds. Doesn't have a whole lot of talking. Doesn't have a whole lot of errors. We'll go ahead and click on the details section. And then I'm going to scroll down. Once I'm into the details section, I'm going to scroll down to, oh, no, I'm sorry. First I'm going to go to more options. So it defaults to basic. Let's go to more options. And then I'm going to scroll down to something that will disappear once we've made our corrections. So in this area beneath original video language, and it's important that you choose what your original video language is, English. Now, I think they may have added some, let's look at this. I think they may have added some options since I published this video, because I think there's the option of English for US now. Yes, there is. In English for United States. So I'm going to update this right now. I did not intend to do this during this video, but if you choose which English or which language and then which subcategory of that language, I think you make it easier for the voice recognition to recognize the dialect that you're speaking. So we'll go ahead and go with English United States. You see how it just added it changed from English to English United States, which means that some of the errors that we're going to find right now probably wouldn't have even existed had I had the option to choose United States when I first uploaded this video, which was several months ago. So now we've got English by YouTube Automatic is the version of the subtitles that we're running right now. I'm going to come over here to these 3 dots, which a lot of people would say means more. So I'm going to go to English by YouTube Automatic. I'm going to look for more options, and I'm going to choose Edit on Classic Studio. Now, YouTube is working its way away from Classic Studio, but right now this is the option that's available to me. But as weeks and months go on, chances are this is going to change to something else. But for right now, this works. So I'm going to click on Edit on Classic Studio, and that's going to pull up the words that have already been assigned to my video by YouTube's voice recognition. So you can barely see these words because I haven't clicked on Edit yet. You definitely do not want to click on Unpublish yet, but you want to click on Edit. So I'm going to click on the Edit button, and then these words will get darker and I can start manipulating them. Okay, so I've clicked on Edit, and What you definitely, absolutely, positively do not want to click on is delete draft. You do not want to click on delete draft. There's a lot of work that went into putting these words here, and you don't want to get rid of that work that's been done. So okay, let's start the editing process. I'm going to click on play here, and as it plays, I'm going to come over to this area and I'm just going to scroll down. I have a little wheel. On my mouse, this little wheel right here, which makes it easy for me to scroll down. If that wheel wasn't there, I think what you'd have to do is grab onto this bar and scroll down as the words are playing. But I'm going to go ahead and begin the editing process. And I'm not going to worry too much about the capitalization. Just proper nouns, I'm going to worry about capitalizing, but beginnings of sentences, I'm not, just to keep this simple.
All right, it is mid-March, and there's still a...
So I paused it so I can correct that March. I'm going to highlight and backspace and then type in a capital M. Let's continue to play.
Christmas ornament that's stuck in the ground that's likely to cause us like a $50 fine. The city has already sent us a letter saying that we need to, we've got Christmas ornaments that can still be seen on the property, and it's early March.
Okay, so they didn't pick up the fact that I said the word it's. Oops, why are we not? Okay, so now go back up to this one so that we can listen to this whole. I went up to this one so that when it replays, it will replay this whole segment.
Already sent us a letter saying that we need to, we've got Christmas ornaments that can still be seen on the property, and it's early March. So now that ornament is stuck in the ground. It is frozen, which presents kind of a problem. And, I'm sure I could just break it off. I'm sure I could just, if worse comes to worse, I could just break it off. Stuck in the ground. It is frozen, which presents kind of a problem. And, I'm sure I could just break it off. I'm sure I could just, if worse comes to worse, I could just break it off. Stuck in the ground. It is frozen, which presents kind of a problem. And, I'm sure I could just break it off. I'm sure I could just, if worse comes to worse, I could just break it off. But, it's like $1 ornament. But I think I've got a technique here that might, let's suppose that it was a more expensive ornament. This technique would probably help to save that more expensive ornament. So I'm going to give it a try and see how well it works. I might end up using boiling water, more expensive ornament. So I'm going to give it a...
Okay, I don't like that it attached this I there. So I'm going to delete it from there and I'm going to add it down here. So let's see how it looks now. And this time I'm going to read it over here.
More expensive ornament, so I'm going to give it a try and see how well it works. I might end up using boiling water.
I think that looks much better that way.
Okay, so I'm going to try to drill it first, and then if that's not enough, then I'll probably end up putting boiling water down the holes that I drill to see if that can soften up the soil. This is going easier than I thought it would. Holes that I drill to see if that can soften up the soil. This is going easier than I thought it would. This is going easier than I thought it would.
Okay, it's saying that I don't say anything until 5:12, so let's go ahead and look at all the way over by 5 minutes.
Got it. Okay. So there we have a technique for removing frozen Christmas ornaments. That's it. Bye.
Okay, this all right and the got it, they were said so quietly that the voice recognition didn't pick them up, and they were actually said a little bit before 5:12.9, but I'm not going to mess, well, let's see. Let's see what happens if I click on this plus. I'm going to try to change this time. So I'm going to try to change that time to, let's go with 5:08.9. 5.2 to 5. Why did you do that? Okay, probably because I tried to change this top one first. So we're going to make this bottom one 5. I'm going to try to go a little bit less than this, so we'll go with 511.2. No, 512.2. Okay. Now I think I can change this top one to 508.7. And then in here is where I'll put the all right. And the got it. And then I'll eliminate that from here. And let's see how it plays.
Got it. Okay.
Well, the all right didn't make it in time, so I'm going to change this 508 to 505. And then let's replay it.
Got it.
Yep, still, it was a little bit earlier than the 505. So we'll change that to 5 minutes. And we'll replay again. There it is. I don't know if you heard it, but I heard it. I'll play it one more time.
There.
Okay, so I'm happy with all the changes that I've made. The first change I made, remember, was this March. I capitalized the word March. So that'll be my litmus test to make sure that I'm working with the proper file. So now that I've done all my editing, I'm going to come over to this area, and I'm going to actually you can control this with this bar over here on the far right, so that you can see the words Publish Edits. Okay, so I've made all my modifications over here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click Publish Edits. Okay, now it shows that we have two different published versions. We have the English Automatic, which was the one that YouTube's voice recognition put together for us, and now we have one called English. The English is the one that we do want, so I'm going to click onto English Automatic. I'm going to use my left mouse button to click onto English Automatic because that's the one that I want to unpublish. Okay, so now that I've clicked on the English Automatic, if we look up here, you can probably see that the M in March is no longer capitalized, or I should say is not capitalized, because this is the first version. This is the one that was automatically, as you see up here, English automatically, or YouTube automatically generated this English text without the capitalized M in March. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Unpublish. Okay, but I'm not going to delete the draft. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this entire browser tab, because I don't see any other way to get out of this screen that I want to use. I don't want to delete draft, and I don't want to publish this edit, because again, this edit has the lowercase m in March, and it doesn't have any of the other corrections that I've made. So I'm just going to come up here to the top, and I'm going to close this whole tab. Okay. Next, I'm going to open up a whole new tab. And I'm going to come down to YouTube. And I'm going to come over to my icon in the upper right corner. And I'm going to choose my channel. And then I'm going to come down here to videos. And then I'm going to find that video again, the one where I'm removing the ornament. Here it is. I'm going to click onto that recently edited video. And this time I'm going to click on the CC. And you see how we've got the good capitalization now? So that's it. That's how. So that's it. That you saw that we've got the good capitalization now for the mid-March, and that means that this version of my subtitles or closed captions is the one that I want the public to see. It's got the good capitalization as opposed to the bad capitalization and the bad spellings and the bad misinterpretations of the words that I said. So I'm very happy with this right now, and that's all there is to it. I've changed my closed captions so that now when the public reads it, they're going to read a much more accurate version than what was generated by YouTube's voice recognition. Even though YouTube's voice recognition, I gotta say, is awesome in terms of the amount of time it saves. If I had to type all this in, it would take hours. I'm not kidding. It would take me hours for this little 5-minute video. So I'm not trying to say that YouTube's voice recognition is bad by any stretch of the imagination. I'm saying give it 3 days to a week to try to interpret what it is that you said, and then go in and make your slight modifications to all that very hard work that went into trying to interpret what it was you said. That's it. Have a good evening. Bye. Or morning, if it's morning where you're at. Have a good day. Bye.